listening to the Questionnaire.
Say that again.
You're listening to the Questionnaires.
I've just started. Right here, for your ears, for your eyes.
The Questionnaire.
Get your comic on.
Poke it out, poke it out, poke it out, poke it out.
Always.
Are you reading?
This is how I always start the show, Lovern.
I've never seen that. It's never been that close together. I've been always late, remember?
On that note, this book right here is wonderful. All right? Brian Michael Bendis, Michael Ullman. Who Michael Ullman was just on the show. You can check it 2 episodes back. And Lovern is back 2 episodes in a row, Lovern. You know that? Like, you came in like pow pow as the co-host.
You're welcome.
Man, I do greatly appreciate it, man, because in all honesty, Lovern, that's why I can't, because I didn't send it to you, Lovern. I sent it to someone else who you'll see coming up as a co-host very, very soon with another very great creator, man, because that's what we do. We bring on people that are dope. They do comics, and that's what they do, you know? Lovern was gracious enough to step in when, you know, somebody had, like, some deadline issues, because it's comics, and, you know, they got deadline. Unlike the podcast, nobody's gonna, like, I mean, I suppose, like, the dude that came on the show might be like, dude, it's been a month, all right? But, like, nobody can directly be like, nobody can affect my wallet. We'll put it like that. Right? People can affect their wallet in regards to the deadline. I mean, I guess we won't get into the semantics of all that, right? So that's what I'm saying, though. Sometimes they got deadlines, and everybody, all the co-hosts except for Dave, are comic book creators. That's what they do. But on the note of another comic book creator, man, right? Where's my Judah? Right? Give me my Judah. Dan Barlow, give me my Judah.
Got it. What's up?
That was a pretty intense line right off the bat in that comic.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
It was. And it intrigued me, Dan.
Bring my Judas.
And bring me my Judas. So I got it a
Yeah.
little wrong. Leave me alone. I read a lot of comics, Dan. It was close. I was paraphrasing. I paraphrase everything. That's why I do hip hop. But I'm curious, looking at this book and reading it, there are certain books that it brought to mind for me. So what would you say were the main inspirations for the story?
Oh, you know what? I grew up back in the 80s. Some of the first comics I was reading was Frank Miller's Daredevil, and then that ventured off into the Punisher and Justice League, which I thrown in there. And then I started diving into the X-Men with Mark Silvestri's art, his beautiful art. And then Mignola came along and just blew my mind with Hellboy. And so that was some of my comic inspirations, just mostly for art perspective. And then the actual characters and the story idea came around about 18 years ago, just hanging out. I was drawing my buddies and stuff, hanging out, and like, hey, you know, what if we was like a group of mercenaries or something like that? And you know, what kind of code name would we have? Back to some old G.I. Joe where everyone had a code name and people was always sweet, like Destro and Snake Eyes and all that, right? So then I started thinking about, you know, what if their code names was based on the holidays? You know, so we had Mr. Christmas, Halloween, a dude named Saint Pat for Patrick's Day, the 4th for 4th of July, and a female character called the Giver for Thanksgiving. And then issue 5 that's going to be coming out hopefully this year is going to introduce like 5 or 6 more holidays. But yeah, it's kind of like this group of bounty hunters and mercenaries that take on odd jobs here and there. And so that's kind of like where it came from. And I was doing artwork for other small press and independent comics for, I don't know, about 10 years. And then I kind of took a break. And then I had a bout with cancer in 2019. So when I was going through chemo and all that, sitting there, you start reflecting on your life and like, you know what? I never did do a book or anything for myself. So I said, you know what? Once I get out of this damn chemotherapy, I'm going to go ahead and just put in the work and do the comic. And, you know, and I kind of reached out to some of the writers and some of the other creators I worked with previously, but everybody, either they got out of the game or no one felt like doing anything, or some people were like, yeah, that sounds good, hit me up and we'll get started. But unfortunately, more times than not, a lot of people fall by the wayside. They never turn in the work or anything like that. So I figured the only way it's going to get done is if I do it myself. So, and I'm more of an artist than a writer, right? But I was like, start laying down some script because I didn't want to wait for anyone else. And it had to get done. The first issue took me about 5 months, doing it all by myself. The only thing I didn't do was I had someone do the lettering, because I'm terrible with computers, and I had someone do the colors on the front cover and stuff like that. And so thank God for the internet and the comic creators out there that reaching out to. And so that's other than that, the rest has been all me. And I dropped the 3rd issue on Kickstarter back in around Halloween. The Kickstarter for issue 4, I'm hoping to drop on St. Patrick's Day coming up. I just sent off the last 3 pages to get lettered, and for issue 4. So yeah, issue 4 is going to drop on Kickstarter this month. And then with it, I have a bonus comic that I did back in 2010. I did a superhero book for a company I worked for, and they shelved it. And it's like, you know what? I got all the artwork, and it's already lettered. It's already done. It's a superhero, kind of like a Flash character called Instant that I had a hand in creating. And I said, you know what? I'll just print it, just put it out there, and it's a bonus, and people like it. I got another issue sitting, waiting, issue 2. And I was like, let's have some fun with it and reward the Kickstarter backers and give them something. And then I have it lined up for Comic Book Shop near my house that on Free Comic Book Day, we're going to go ahead and print up some copies because it was packed last. Free Comic Book Day is crazy. And that store had a line out the door around to the back of the parking lot. It was wild. I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
So I said, and so that's a different approach than the Devil's Contract, where, it's for all readers. It's not geared towards kids, really, maybe teens or whatever. But, if a 6-year-old picks it up, they're not going to read any foul language or anything crazy, or, a bunch of women posing in wild positions or anything like that. I left it all out of that book. And so, but so we'll see, hopefully it picks up. I do have another book called Mr. Love about a Cupid who's not good at his job. And so I did short stories with some zine, a couple of small independent publishers printed some short stories from my character. And so I had some artwork laying around. I got with a writer from Electromagnetic Press. His name's Mark Fisher, real cool guy that I met at a show 3 years ago. And I said, hey man, just throw some story down for me, man. Let's put a couple books out. So we got one book out that I gave away to my Kickstarter backers with the 3rd campaign for Devil's Contract. And then I got it's called Mr. Love One Shot, which I'm still working on now. I have some of the stories done. It's like composed of several mini stories. And then there's one larger story that incorporates everything. Like he's on trial. So part of this trial is you're reading it, and then it cuts to like a mini story, like a 4-pager, 6-pager, 8-pager. And then it goes back to his trial, and like, well, looking back, you screwed up, 30 years ago with this, and that was the story you just read and stuff like that. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully people will dig it. And I had some fun covers done with that. So yeah,
that's an intriguing concept, man. I love where you're going with it, and I just want to say, like, I swear you forwarded me an email with no answers whatsoever, Dan. What kind of trickery and ruse is this, right? And then also I want to point out, Dude, I look, dude, I
You scroll at
look.
the bottom.
This is it. There, look. It says my answer. You know what it's got for your answers? It literally says my answers. All right, and then none of the questions are answered whatsoever. I
So
assure, like, huh?
yeah, you know what? So the unanswered questions was still on the email, but you should scroll down and those questions pop up again with my answers.
Oh, I'm telling you, they don't, Dan.
Damn.
Yeah,
Uh,
but regardless, whatever. Fill it out later, and everybody can check it out on the Pantreon. I won't get to
yeah.
torture you, and I won't get to do my end bit, which is slightly annoying. But whatever.
How
It's
do y'all feel out?
I digress. But I want to point out with that book, man, the main book we were discussing was
Devil's
you ever have
Contract?
so yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a touch. It reminded me specifically when I read it of The Losers, but
Oh, yeah.
supernatural.
All right. Cool. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
some
I
good.
mean that entirely as a compliment. I'm a fan of the book.
I've never seen the movie, but I like the book. Right now, I went back and started reading Ed Brubaker's Criminal right now. So Sean Phillips' art is fantastic. Brubaker's writing's good. So just really try to take bits and pieces and add it to your recipe and see, try to enhance that flavor and make it more enjoyable. Um, so yeah, no, that's cool. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm real happy. And my goal, and I think some of these creators on Kickstarter, I think they have a similar goal, is where you always try to make the next book better. I look back at issue 1, like, man, there's some things I wish I would have did for, back then. I don't have an editor. I know a couple people wanted to edit my book, but I didn't. I got a small budget, and most of my campaigns have been like $500, so I'm
Wow.
anything. I just want the books to pay for themselves right now until they pick up more steam, more followers. Yeah, I would love to do it in color sometime, and get away from some of the black and white books. But until that day comes, and I'll put them out in black and white for now, and hope to collect it in a trade. But you know what? I bet if you ask me some of the questions from the questionnaire, I can answer them right now. Like if
What's
you,
your favorite color?
what's my favorite color? It's olive green.
Hollywood green.
Olive
Oh,
green.
okay. I'm
I
I'm
love
thinking of, when you say Hollywood green, I'm thinking of a really nice green on a car.
Yeah, I said olive green.
Olive green, sorry.
Yeah, no problem,
Yeah.
Hollywood green to me would just be a green screen.
dude. Yeah. Hey, you know what?
Yeah, yeah.
Color we need to make up.
Yeah, there was actually rally green, I think is what I'm thinking of. So,
Oh, okay.
and I'm supposed to know color, right?
Yeah, you're
And as for your black and white stuff, I wouldn't worry about getting it into color in that. I mean, you can work up a really sweet rhythm with the black and white and just not worry about color.
Yeah, you know what? I thought about doing. I think you might remember this guy, Cam Kennedy,
Yeah,
and his inking and he did like ink washes and some
yeah,
of that stuff in the '80s was just beautiful. He did for what was it, 2000 AD publication.
yeah.
But I thought of, for years I've been wanting to take the duotones and some of the manga tones and apply them to American style looking artwork, comic art.
Oh, then you should be looking up Noel Sickles' work.
That name sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's Sickles.
Okay,
The guy's a god.
I'll have to check it out. Yeah, that would be the ultimate goal. I had a copy of Manga Studios, but it's like, man, I don't have time to learn computer, stuff.
Yeah.
And I was hoping to find someone that I'd pay somebody to do that for me. But maybe one day, like I said, we'll see. I did order some duotone this the leader duotone from Japan. I'm waiting
Oh,
on that.
wow.
So I like to, experiment a little bit with it and see what comes out of it. So yeah, I mean, that's some of the goals and expectations. The Mr. Love book is planned to be in color. A couple of the stories are in color. It's just a matter of, I got to get off my butt and finish that artwork too. So you try to stay busy, try to stay sharp. And I realized the more I'm doing it, the easier it's flowing, it's becoming. There for a while when I first started, I was happy if I got a panel done, every 3 or 4 days. And now it's like, hey, you know what? I should be cranking out a couple of pages a week at least. And that's just in what little time I have outside of my day job, and come home, take care of family and dinner. And I had to fix a broken dishwasher today. I'm still fighting it, so stuff like that all the time kind of interrupts your art life.
Well,
but
yeah, and too, with running Kickstarter and stuff like that, that's eating up
okay.
even more of your time.
Yeah, it does. I put out there, I was trying to see if there was some there's a good local art community in Dayton. And I was just trying to find that person that says, hey, you know what? I'm not an artist. I don't really write, but I like comics and I'd like to help out or get involved somehow. But I haven't found that person yet. I did have, there was a small publisher out of Florida. And I don't know. They probably have about 9 or 10 titles that I don't know. It don't come out monthly or bi-monthly, but he saw my work. And he wanted to publish the Devil's Contract. He liked it. And we talked for like an hour and a half on the phone. And I told him, I said, well, I'm going to print up some copies because I'm going to be a guest at a pretty decent sized show here locally. And I said, but you know what, that's just going to be a small run. Then you can go ahead and print them up. And he didn't like that at all. He's just like, no, you can't print it. If you're going to go through me, you can't print nothing else on your own. And then I started looking at the contract that he's wanting me to sign. So it's like, I didn't know what he was really doing besides printing the comics. And he was using the same printer as one of the big companies. And I tried to, tell him I was going through Comics Wellspring, and it was a lot less than what he was telling me what he was going to pay for it. And I was like, well, we could save some money, and I was going to have to do all the marketing anyways, because he said, well, and I was like, so what the hell are you going to do besides, send the files off to the printer and spit some books out? And then, I mean, you're going to get in Diamond. That's fine. He was already in Diamond, but, from what I've seen, the small press and Diamond, and what really are you getting back for work? You're not, unless for some reason you strike gold, but more times than not, a small unknown comic, man, it's an uphill climb. It's a 45-degree hill in the mud. So
it's funny that you say what you just said, Dan, and I only say this because it seems like I've heard of it in hip hop, where you get somebody representing you, and hey, it's not a good deal. You better pay attention. I've had it happen because I was signed to a label down in Colorado at one point. I seem to be hearing about it more in this as well, and I've just come to the conclusion that there are a series of people that ostensibly would like to be able to, but they're not able to, so they try to take the resources they have.
Yeah.
To trying to put this kindly, and I don't know that I can. Yeah, you feel me, Lovern? Yeah. I don't know how to, but just to subvert. Look, they're using them is what it boils down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If that's the nicest way I can think to put it. I feel like that might be a little, and I think that's sad that you see that in some of the entertainment industries, and it's because in a lot of ways to be able to put out the entertainment capacity that any true artist does, it eats what a lot of what we like to call time, which is everyone knows is finite. So these people feel like, and it's funny because a lot of the times the things they put in front of you, it equates to nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of Hollywood talk. When my first published work was back in '93 during the boom, right? With the company, they're gone now, so I'm going to say their name, Samson Comics, and they put out a Samson Comics 1/2 with a front cover by Billy Tucci, and so he printed and sold right around 50,000 copies of this 1/2. Crazy, right? Me and my buddy was doing art out of time, fresh out of high school, really, and we both had like 8 pages in the book, colored. And so basically, what it was a preview of what Samson Comics was going to be putting out. I think there's like 5 or 6 comics that they was going to drop that year, and my book was one, my buddy's book was the other, and so they had, maybe it's like 6 pages of my first issue in this previews book, and they sold a bunch of copies. We didn't see a nickel, and then they turned around, and it sold good. I got great feedback. He had me set up at Chicago Con at the time. Got to meet some good people, some good contacts. Heck, we was sitting next to Jeff Darrow, cool guy, man. We was hanging out. I couldn't believe it. I was like, I love Hard Boiled, and everything that you touch, man, is fantastic. And, got a chance to meet John Romita Sr., talked to him for a little while. Nice guy. He talked to me about coming out to New York to intern and stuff like that. But, at the time I was practically homeless. I didn't have a stable life. And I was like, I don't know if going to New York was going to get any better. I mean, I had to sleep in somebody's, coat closet or something. But long story short, yeah, nothing ever came of it. He made some money off that 1/2 issue. We didn't see anything, and he didn't print our books. That was the real kicker. I didn't get nothing from the 1/2 issue. That's fine. I just want my book, to come out there and stuff. So, that kind of stalled my ambitions and my drive there at first. But yeah, there's some publishers out there I just try to stay away from. And at this time and age, with print on demand and crowdfunding, it's a different ball game now. So I don't need to chase publishers. Would it be nice? Yeah, to have a stable, positive, good relationship and share the same vision as a publisher that has your best interest. That'd be fantastic. But right now you just do it all on your own, I guess. So
you gotta find some dope associates along the way, though, man. The farther you get into it, as far as just, I mean, you think about it. I mean, because I say that because it's just this show started with just me jumping in. Lovern knows this. He was part of one of the first interviews. Like I was in a very different location during your first interview, Lovern, than I am currently. To now the rotating co-hosts that I have, Lovern being amongst them and everyone else, and it's so I think it's important to appreciate the journey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Though it can be rough.
It's a lot of work, but it's good work. I mean, when I get up in the mornings, get ready to go to work, to my day job, I normally go downstairs to what I drew last night or what I inked last night, and I just look at it, just kind of take it in. Sometimes it's always good to look at, the next day. I'm like, okay, that sucked, scrap that, or good, keep it going. And then so when I get to work, I'm thinking about the book. I'm daydreaming, and a lot of times during my lunch, I'm sketching stuff, writing out script, or trying to read comics. I got a omnibus of G.I. Joe, Larry Hama stuff, Marvel and all that at work. I like to sit back and read. Kind of looks funny because I work in the office. Come up and like reading G.I. Joe comics. I'm like,
hey man, no. All I know is Kelly Johnson is getting ready to do that. Scarlet getting ready to come up, and you'll also be able to catch her pretty soon over here at the QUESTionnaire. Right around the time that first issue dropping. So we got that looking forward to. Since you're bringing up G.I. Joe, man, I had to throw that in. I couldn't because we just got her books as far as come on before that Scarlet drops, man. I'm definitely looking forward to it because she's done a lot of phenomenal work beyond that, man. But I do think it's funny you point out. Why do you think there's the stigma, man?
with publishers.
No, with comics. Like, why you got people
Oh,
looking at
yeah.
you just because you're reading G.I. Joe? Like, Lovern, you ever feel like jaded about that, man? Like you're trying to read a comic and you get a look and you just kind of want to look at him and be like, hey, do you even read?
Yeah. You know what? I don't know why that is. I think every time, and it's starting to change, but every time they say there's like an episode of CSI and it takes place at a Comic-Con, dude, they pick out the most stereotypical crap. There was actually in Columbus, there was a big show, a lot of celebrities, and the local news went there. They went to the freaks. They didn't go to like regular people. You know, they had to pick out the cosplayers and some of the craziness. Love them. They're entertaining, right? But that's the only thing they showed on the news. I'm like, really?
Well, yeah, because they're looking for clickbait.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah, they don't want to have an intelligent conversation with you. They want clickbait so that people can laugh at it and and click on their links.
So, but I always look at it like this. I grew up like kind of like an outcast in school. Had a lot of bullies. Wasn't good at a lot of things. So I just kind of picked up drawing and the love, from watching All-Star Blazers to clipping out, in G-Force and stuff like that as a kid to clipping out the Sunday comic strips in the newspaper and drawing anything I could. And that's my escape, and it still continues to be that escape, and really helps me, dive into this imaginary world of mine, and kind of relieves the stress and everything like that. And so when I see people saying, "Hey, what is comics?" I'm like, it's escape. I have something healthy, I feel like comics, and maybe that person has, a 12-pack of beer a day habit kind of thing, that's escape, but yet you want to, look down on what I do. The hell with you, dude. I'm creative. I still like to, work with my hands and in my brain, whatever's left of it. Because you talk to some of these people and like, what'd you do last night? Well, I sat in front of the TV and watched a whole series on Netflix. And I'm like, all right. I miss out a lot on some stuff because I like to, sit down, do art, listen to a podcast. I normally can't watch a show because I still like to see stuff. So I'm not up on a lot of stuff. Some things I pick up on that questionnaire I answered. I think one of the questions about animation, I said something about the Blue Eye Samurai. Great stuff. That was a Netflix show that you watched and like, wow, I can watch it again. So there's some things that pop up here and there. Some of the great show for animation, like the Invincible show on Amazon. I haven't read the books. I need to.
The books are phenomenal.
I haven't read the books either, but I worked on the their now what was it? Where they did each of the characters and they had like a what is it, Jay?
I'm trying because I know exactly what you're talking about, Lovern, because I remember
The Who's Who.
Kind of like the Bible of the
It's I'm saying Who's Who because that's what DC had. They had all the DC characters and they had a pin up and then they had a page with a bio and stuff like that. And so I worked on the Invincibles Who's Who. I did some color on that, but I haven't seen the anything on TV about it.
Hey Lovern, I'm doing that for issue 4 of my book. I'm starting out with just 4 bio pages in issue 4 of the 4 main bounty hunters from the first couple of issues.
Yeah.
And then I'll continue to add that in the back, just to have some fun with it. But
I think with the way you've done your book, Dan, that would definitely be helpful, to be real honest, because I think it's and I mean I say that from reading it, man.
Yeah.
I think because there's a lot there in the world that you're producing. That's why I gotta say it very much it made me when I was reading it was like, dude, this makes me think of The Losers, just like with supernatural crazy things, which is slightly terrifying, really, because there was enough insanity in that comic and movie respectively. Like if you add in vampires and such,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So I also have a couple solo stories written up. I just got to do the art. One for the Halloween character that can, talk, interact with ghosts, and the other guy, Mr. Christmas. I got a funny story written up with him where he takes on. There's like a group of, like these this bunch of criminals that go to rob a children's hospital, like break in and steal the pharmaceuticals and take the drugs and stuff. And they're dressed like Santa Claus, right around the holiday, right around Christmas time. And so that's how they get into the hospital, disguised as Santa Claus. And Mr. Christmas, the character, he's not in his outfit or anything, wearing his mask or anything. He's there to see some sick kid, some neighbor kid, and he picks up on what's going on. So he goes out to the car, puts the hood and the mask on, gets ready for action. So, it's going to be pretty funny because I got a couple funny moments where he's going to be beating up a bunch of crooked Santa Clauses, and the kids are like, "Oh, he's beating up Santa," kind of thing. So we'll see. I got some fun stuff lined up for it. But yeah,
I'm glad
No,
to hear that you're gonna.
I can get into that. I can get into that. I did the color on the Lobo paramilitary Christmas special.
I had that. I'll pull that out. I got that issue. When Lobo came out, I was all over from because I loved him when he was in JLA, right? And so I got that issue because he takes on that contract from the Easter Bunny to go after Santa Claus.
Oh yeah.
So, I haven't read any Lobo issues lately. I know he has a daughter in the universe now or something like that. I haven't read none of that. The only Lobo books I have was like the first couple miniseries that Biz did and the paramilitary Christmas special.
Oh, you have to get it. You have to get infanticide.
I mean, there are a lot of great Lobo books.
Keith Giffen did the art on that, didn't he?
Yeah, he did it in the trencher style.
That's right. I have that.
Yeah, and I did the colors on that where all the Lobo bastards are gonna assassinate him.
I got that. I got to read that again.
So. I think it's funny, man. If you look at Lobo, like I love Lobo as a character until the New 52, and you don't really see a whole lot of Lobo now in comics after they did what they did with Lobo in the New 52. Yeah. I believe it was the New 52, right? Where they made him not Lobo. I don't know. Like I read like an issue of it because I've been a Lobo fan for a long time, and when they did the New 52, he's just. He wasn't the main man no more. Yeah. Like he was very.
You think they watered him down to be more appealing to female readers or something?
No, I don't think so. I think they just took it sideways and dropped all the biker stuff and just went pure for more space opera.
Yeah. Give me the hardcore womanizing biker who doesn't take crap off anyone and kicks ass. I mean, kicks butt.
Yeah, I mean, he's just, you're fine. He's just, that character is not built for a space opera. That's all I know to say.
No.
Like,
I guess they were looking more at something like fitting him back into that sort of Legion of Superheroes world.
Yeah.
No. Look, if they want to see something that's been done recently with Lobo in a team, it's when he was in he was in the Suicide Squad for a very short time.
Oh,
and and it's the Justice League Suicide Squad story, and like they're trying to kill them all, and Batman literally blows Lobo's head up, like he blows the bomb in Lobo's head, just because somebody was like mind controlling him, and Batman figured it out. So he's like, I'm gonna blow this dude's head up because I know he can survive it, and when I tell him I just got him to where he's not being controlled anymore, he'll be cool with me. And then he ended up forming a team with it was Batman, Lobo, Frost. I don't remember who else, to be real honest, but I think it was the JLA at the time. That's
like a JLA.
Yeah, that's about I want to say 2010, maybe. I might be. It might be more like 2005, but that's the only. Like, that's the best team story I've ever seen with Lobo because it put him in. Like, he's in a team with Batman, and he's who he is. Like,
Yeah.
come
Are
on.
you gonna have one of your characters blow somebody's head up now?
You know what? In the second issue, I don't know, Jay, if you read all 3 issues I sent you.
Look, I can't find your questionnaire, and I can't find issue 2 either. Okay, and I don't know why. I don't know why. So I read issue 1 and issue 3, Dan. I don't know what happened.
Issue 2 is a 48 pager, man. It's a banger. So in issue 2, so to answer your question, Lovern, the bounty hunters are hired by this preacher to kidnap someone that used to be one of his church members, and they track him down. This guy is like a thief. He goes and steals like military tech or anything he can get his hands on and sells it to Ice Bitter. They track him down, find out on the last page of the first issue he's a werewolf. So the second issue is all about them chasing him down, and they track the werewolf down at a movie set called Bullwolf instead of Beowulf. They're filming a werewolf movie at a bowling alley, and kind of like how what's that Michael J. Fox movie where he's playing basketball? Was that Teen Wolf?
Teen Wolf.
Yeah. So it's kind of playing with that, where it's a werewolf movie, but he bowls. So, anyways, the real werewolf shows up, and everyone thinks it's the stunt double who's like some drunk and calling him Frank instead. They're like, "Oh, you're just drunk again, Frank. You need to go sober up." And the wolf's getting pissed, kind of like, and he's just like slaughtering people. Like, so when they finally catch him in the bowling alley, they track him down. He has this chick's head. He's just sitting in the bathroom on the floor singing a Beatles song, singing Eleanor Rigby, and it's daylight by the time they catch it. And so he's just transformed back to a man, and he has this girl's head. He's just sitting on the floor, and they're just like, "Look, dude, we don't care about your singing. You make one wrong move, we're gonna blow you away." But they have to turn him in. So yeah, the second issue is 48 pages of good, wholesome horror action.
I'm gonna have to see if I can find that, and hopefully your questionnaire, because it's supposed to be over on the Patreon for everybody to check out all these pre-show questionnaires. Lavern's gonna bring up the "What's your favorite color?" question, which I don't ever use that, man. That's just to mess with people more than anything else.
Yeah.
Don't let nobody know that, Lavern. But
I'll get you that.
But I will point out, Lovern, look, man, if he gets this done in color, whoever the colorist is, they will be using many a shade of red.
Yeah. So the issues for issue 3, I did 3 different front covers. So one of them, I did my first foil cover where I kind of had red at the top, like blood coming down, and it's a vampire chick in a motorcycle with a skull on it. But so just a toy around. I never did mess with foil yet, and figured do a small run. So I used a couple colors here and there. That's the Mr. Love book I did. So yeah, I mean,
how do you decide in the process of that, man, when you're going into it just from a business aspect from running the Kickstarter to making sure you set the goal properly to everything you have to deal with as far as, I mean, because you say you're doing pretty much all of it, but obviously there are little things that you're not actually printing it. You're not actually, like, I've only had one guest on that could print his own comic, and that was Alfonso. He prints comics for people. So if he wants to print a comic, he just goes into his shop. But that's the only person I've ran across that has it that much at hand, my dog got mad about that. But I'm curious, how do you go into that, figuring out what to do as far as where to set it and everything, just as in the business aspect? And there are times where my dog won't shut up. There are times where my dog won't shut up, y'all. Sorry. All right. Man, are there times where you cut something back because of the cost.
Yeah, kind of. So most of so far, my first 3 campaigns have really just been to pay for the letterer and the small print run I do with Comic Wellsprings. I have some stickers and stuff like that done up, but you know, in the colorist does the cover. So I have found. I went on Facebook. There's a colors group, Colors for Hire, something like that, and I just sorted through a bunch of different colorists on there. Yeah, I haven't seen Lovern's stuff. I don't think he would be in that group. You right. So yeah, I have to be cost conscious, and then also see, you can kind of have a little bit of an eye for if they can do your stuff and do it right. So the colors I used for the first couple covers, he kind of doubled his rates, and he does great work. And I said, that's fine. I just can't really afford you right now. So I end up lucking into another colorist that at the rate I was originally paying. So, I just kind of keep it at that. Same thing with the letter. With the page rates to have them letter, I don't want to letter myself, and I think good letterers, they speak for themselves. If it's bad lettering, it's going to stick out. That's the thing about letters. You don't know they're good because if it's bad, you'll know, right? And that can really mess your book up. So I figured, what, since it's not in color, at least the letters have to be spot on. And I lucked into a real good letterer from Venezuela. And so, yeah, I have to be conscious. Like with the new book, issue 4, I'm like, man, I can add 8 more pages, but you know what? Price of the book's going to go up to, 40 pages instead of 32. And then plus you got to pay the letter for those 8 pages. So, but, I'm keeping the books right now. I kind of dropped them to a $3 price for the books. I'm doing some consignment with several local shops, and I figured, what, it's black and white. The last book was 24 pages, and I was like, what, $3. I think that's pretty fair. And the next book is going to be $3. You just kind of try to get it out there and see if people pick up on it. And so hopefully, like I said, right now it's barely paying for itself. One of the things I do offer with Kickstarter that no one else does, I throw in a panel. I cut up pages. I throw in panels of original art from the book, and I give it to my backers, kind of reward them. Like, who else does that?
Wait. You cut up pages?
Oh, yeah.
Lovern, have you ever heard that before?
Yes.
Like,
I got it from Jeff Darrow.
You got it what?
I got that from Jeff Darrow. He did that when I did a show in Chicago in '93, and he was sitting next to me. He had a basket with panels in it of his crazy, insane art. And he's like, "Oh yeah, you want some? Here you go, man." Signed it. I'm like, "What? Are you kidding me? Who does that?" And then, so when I was trying to think of ideas, how to be different, because a lot of these campaigns are the same. The Kickstarter's flooded with books, and I see that the campaigns, COVID's over. And so I see some of these campaigns are doing less and less, unless you have a certain kind of book. And I have a couple of daughters, and my wife would be like, I don't know if you should do, why are you doing that? Those TNA books, right? I'd probably get some
hey,
negative.
Mother Trucker is wonderful, and Andy will be joining us on a PanCon here soon, and it very much is one of those books on Kickstarter.
I work for Penthouse Comics.
Oh, nice. So, yeah, if I didn't have to answer to the missus, because she works at a Christian school. She's a teacher.
Hey, I've actually written some Christian comics as well as colored them.
Me too. So yeah, I was in several Christian anthologies back in the 2000s. One called Magazine, and
Oh, yeah.
so yeah, I did several story artwork for several stories for those guys, and then a book called Ragged Capes, which was like a Christian superhero story for this guy on the West Coast. Real nice guy. Everyone in that group's been really cool. And I was just doing it just to do the artwork at the time. I wasn't getting paid or anything like that, and that's fine. You know, I just want to get my stuff out there and do some comics with some people. So yeah, I mean, the temptation is strong because I see some of those books. Some of them look really good interiors and stuff, but some of them it's just covers. Once you open that book up, you're like, who the hell drew this? You know, this is amateur. I'm not saying I'm anyone, but
Yeah.
but damn it, man, it's like don't try to do like a bait and switch. You know, they're buying the book, and then when they get it home and they finally open it up, it's crap. So
Yeah, but they learned that from comics.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how many Brian Bolland covers have you seen that
Oh,
there ain't no Brian Bolland inside?
yeah, no Brian Bolton. Yeah, that is one of the problems I have, and I think Marvel's on this variant cover craze right now, where they got like 6 covers and stuff like that. I see. Like
I just gotta say real quick, I don't think that's just Marvel. Are you serious? With the
No, it's everybody.
yeah, it's the incentive ones that get me personally.
yeah.
Like, dude, really? It's 1 in 100? Like, what? There's 1 in 70. Like, whatever.
Now I did for issue 4, and I'll have to send it to you. I did a X-Men tribute cover to Jim Lee's first X-Men issue he did, where they was in Madripoor, Captain America and Black Widow, because I love that issue. And so I did a tribute cover with my characters for that for issue 4, and that was supposed to be the variant. Now I was like, you know, that's better than the original cover I had done. I'm just going to make that the main cover, and the other one can just be, you know, back cover art or something like that, because I was happy with how it turned out. I did see one thing, you know, and there's probably more out there. I have been seeing some of these Kickstarter campaigns. These guys, now I won't say his name. I dealt with the guy in the past. He had a Bad Girl book in the 90s. Nowhere near the level of Lady Death or any of those major ones. But his Bad Girl did put out, you know, a bunch of issues of her character, and he's doing books again. But he has like 20 to 30 covers, and it's all AI art on his front cover.
Oh, don't say that.
Yeah, no, it's true, and it's out there. And this guy,
That's a bad word over here, Dan.
I know it's a bad word.
It's
correct. You know, people like that should not be allowed on Kickstarter with that kind of garbage, in my opinion, with stolen art. And he showed some of the interior pages on his campaign, and it's garbage, right? And now the interior pages wasn't AI art, but it wasn't good. And this dude's campaign is like 30,000 here, you know, on up. And it's like, I don't know. I'm not a fan of it. That practice needs to go away. I'm not happy that Kickstarter allows that, but you know, I don't run Kickstarter. If I did,
and I hope I don't.
And I guess I think I saw like a major artist publisher apparently ran some competition, and now correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard that he picked an AI image for the winner.
I'm very glad you did that more gracefully than I did, Rich, because I was gonna name drop and you put it the appropriate way. But yes, from some things I've seen earlier today, I'm pretty sure you are entirely correct. That a very
I am.
Yes, from what I've seen, I don't know how to be able to confirm if it's actual AI
what I saw,
art, but like
what I saw posted is, you know, that there's apparently there's scans for art that you can feed into, and it'll tell you if it's AI or the probability. And the scans on this were saying probability is like 95% sure it's AI.
That's terrible, man. You know, and so many people entered that contest. I had a couple of friends that are into comics. They said, "Dude, yeah, I entered." I'm like, you know what? I don't need to promote his book for free. I need to focus on my stuff. You know.
Yeah.
You know, and they're like, "Well, you could be on the front cover." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, that'd be cool." You know, but what's it really going to be? So now some of these people that entered the contest are selling their original contest entries online.
Yeah.
And there's people complaining, oh, they shouldn't be allowed to sell, sell that. That's not their IP. I'm like, but you know what? They did the artwork. Let them sell. They wasn't getting paid anyways.
No.
Wait. On the thing that are you serious? How many artists draw people from IPs, especially
Oh,
the big two, and sell them? Like that's how
I
you get a repertoire to where you can get hired by the big two in the first place, is to show that look how well I draw these characters, because look how many times I've drawn them, and like I don't understand that. And if you go to any artist alley on any convention anywhere,
print. That's what they
yeah,
some called them.
you want a picture of Deadpool by whatever artist?
Yeah. They don't even do sequential comic art. They're not comic artists. They draw comic characters on prints or whatever of the big two and sell it. And a lot of times they make more money than actual small publishers that show up to sell their comics.
Oh yeah, I've seen that at many conventions.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's not my thing. They want to do it, that's fine. If they enjoyed,
I'm just saying, as far as the selling the original Spawn art, everybody needs to go shh and just keep mind the business, mind the business. Did the gentleman who did the gentleman who organized that say anything? And if he didn't, then shh, mind your business. It's not your business, right? But yeah, I do agree on the whole thing. Like that's just it's sad to see AI becoming in any way, shape, or form to where it's getting on larger things, from Secret Invasion to because I've not seen any piece of AI art that made me go, ooh, let me see more.
I have seen some pieces. I'm like, there's this guy that does like retro Japanese posters on Instagram of like monster movies and stuff like that using AI art, and like it looks cool. Like they look like paintings, like when movie posters used to be paintings and stuff.
Yeah.
It's all Japanese, and I'm like, man, it looks pretty freaking cool to have a cover like that. Don't get me wrong, that's empty, but I see a lot of terrible AI art too, where it looks fake plastic. Women, they're so shiny, they look like shiny plastic.
The point is that a lot of people are losing jobs now. I mean, all over animation and the film industry, people are like, why do I need a concept artist? I can just sit down. The director can just sit down and throw a bunch of prompts in there, and
there's a local guy that did storyboards for, I think it was Pulp Fiction. No, he worked with the Coen brothers. He worked on some of the Coen brothers stuff, and here in Dayton, and he freelanced, and that's all he did was storyboards for movies and some really big name movies. And he was selling some of his original art. But guys like him are now going to go the way of the magazines and road maps, right?
It's not gonna go. There's a lot of people that have lost their jobs to that already.
News reporters, writers, and stuff that write magazine articles and stuff. They're going to get replaced, and unfortunately, so
that's just terrifying to realize that. Well, look, man, we're ran by algorithms enough. As far as any social media you're on, if you're using any kind of streaming service, whether it be music or video, it's running some kind of algorithm to figure out what to give you next, so you continue to watch or listen or scroll, whatever it may be. To realize that it's going to get to the point where our entertainment is coming from an algorithm, I don't think people really, because some people will, My point is there's no humanity in it. And some people will be like, well, what's the human element then? And my response is the human element. Do you not understand? Like it's the fact that you are an individual that has lived X amount of years and you've had these experiences. You can never put that into a program and it have the same effect that it would on an individual. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think that's the other odd thing is I've seen people within that are pro AI in whatever capacity stories because there's even AI hip hop and that offends me to a level I cannot tell you. Are you serious? Like it all offends me. But that one just gets in my gall a little as someone that does that, so I'm sure that's why I know when I'm talking to y'all and I'm talking about the art, I get it that it's the same when we're talking about it. So I totally,
Yeah.
totally understand. But I think it's just funny that people, they just don't grasp that we're going to be living by algorithms. Is that really what you want?
So either we're going to be in the Matrix world or Terminator world in the next 10 years. So pick one.
Or not.
Yeah.
No, you need to, have you read any of Ray Kurzweil's books?
No.
You should take a look for Spiritual Machines.
Okay. Ray Kirk. All right. I'll check it out.
Ray Kurzweil. It's with a W.
Okay.
He's from MIT.
So.
I mean, it could go a number of ways, and I think that's the intriguing thing about it. But I think that
I'm voting for the Star Trek way.
Cheers, Lovern.
Yeah.
So am I, man. I don't want Star Wars because there ain't no
I
Force.
said Star Trek.
No, I know. I said cheers. I agree because I think the other because I don't want Star Wars, and I think that's the one we're most likely to get to. Yeah. I gotta beep some things in this episode. You might just hear some random werewolf roars because I think it'll be funny to end it like that.
Yeah, definitely beep me. Sorry.
Yeah, it's no thing, Laverne. But look, man, the show changed. It used to, so I get it. Plus, we all just chatting. And I'm chatting to the point I lost my point. But no, I think it's important that we guide it in the proper way. And that we also understand that what we're dealing with right now is in no way, sense, or form AI. I think that's what because what Richard posted something, Richard Pace, you can check out his past quests, man. And he's gonna be coming up soon here at PanCon drawing some madness. Posted something and it said it was a AGM, which I don't remember what that stands for. I had to ask Rich, but it was ostensibly just an acknowledgement that it's not really AI. It was an algorithm something, because that's what it's doing. It's using an algorithm to take what you take and then look through all of the internet, through all of these pictures and take from all of these pictures. It's not an AI in the sense of like, what's that creepy movie with the little girl doll that came out real recently?
Oh, Megan?
Oh, yeah, with the big
Megan.
eyes.
Megan.
Yeah.
All right. That's real AI. That's real AI. And when you don't monitor it and keep control of it and you just give it orders, real screwy things will happen. Okay. You have to pay attention to the input that this AI is getting. Man, that's not what we have. And I don't think what we have could develop into that to that degree. Now, I may be wrong, but from everything I know, it just doesn't seem likely.
Yeah.
Maybe not. But I mean, what might come out of this though is if we're very fortunate, is that people will look at people that actually do art with your hand, that it's more valuable, and then maybe there'll be a more of a market about or a more intelligent market where people are going to go, well, I like that. That's really cool. But did you do that with your hands, or was that? And then you're going to be able to, I hope, be in a position where maybe you're going to be able to command premium prices for your original artwork and that.
Now, so going off that, are we what's the possibility of that happening? I mean, to a bigger level, because it is the comic book market, American comic book readers are just continuing to get older. There's not as many young readers as they would like. And would the young readers prefer the original art if they grow up reading, you know, stuff that isn't original art? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You know, where you and me can appreciate original art, right?
Yeah,
But
right.
as we're getting older, and I'm buying less books, unfortunately, just because of money and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
you know, as some of these comic readers are, I don't want to say dying off or stop buying books, and the younger readers are coming in, would they have that same appreciation for it?
Well, I think that unless they stop kids making art in kindergarten or in grade school, kids are gonna appreciate at least the level of, well, you know, I drew this little Spider-Man thing
Yeah.
here, and I went and I had the Spider-Man writer or artist do me a little doodle and that, and then they're going to have that connection to it, I think, because when you're a kid, everybody's an artist.
Yeah.
So I think that there's still that connection, and I think that the success of a lot of books with a more naive style these days
Mm-hmm.
is kind of backing that up.
Yeah, and I mean I fully agree, you know, and like you said, every kid is an artist, and the world kills the artist in a lot of us. You know, or we
Yeah,
let it.
yeah,
At
it's
least.
just the same way they hunt down and kill geniuses. I get it.
So
I'm gonna end this show right now so we don't all die. If you got a group of creatives, take them out. Take them out.
yeah,
Delta
I
6-9.
mean,
Like,
the underlying statement of it all is you shouldn't take anything too seriously because you ain't getting out alive, man.
yeah. Don't mix it out alive. Sorry to be
No
morbid.
one.
I think Musk is really trying though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
He's
think
gonna
if there's
prior-
one dude really trying to make it out alive, I think it's I think or no, wait, Musk is dead. Wait, no, he's not. No, I'm thinking of
Disney.
no, I was thinking of Steve Jobs, who's dead, and I
No.
said Elon Musk, but
Walt's head.
Disney's not dead. He's frozen. His head's frozen somewhere. Ain't you seen that episode of I think it's Family Guy or something, or I don't know. Like, look, Walt's head is frozen at Disney. It's just there, and let's not get into that because I don't need them on my back. I've got creators from Marvel coming up. I don't need their overlord to go. You can't go on that show because I said something about Walt Disney's head being in it. It's really not. I don't think it was just a cartoon. At least I really hope not. But no, Musk is just someone you can see where he's trying to make it to where you can transfer your consciousness into a computer, which would essentially be making you immortal. Especially if you could put that computer into or you could put that series of code into a robot. Then you have a really screwy true form of AI because I don't know if I consider that human life anymore. But that's a whole.
No, we're going to go down a rabbit hole right away.
You ever seen Altered Carbon on Netflix?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, that's exactly what Jay's talking about right there.
Okay. Yeah.
First
But
season-
is that really the guy, or is that just a program that thinks it's the guy?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like the Star Trek question. If you look at the science, you can't really do that transporting people around. So technically, you're disintegrating Chekhov and recreating a new Chekhov on the planet.
Yeah.
So every time you go to transport down to the planet or whatever, you're dead.
Hey, you know what? I don't need to transport it. I'm just going to stay on the ship maybe wash the dishes in the mess hall or something. I'm good.
I
Yeah,
never.
I'm not big on going on the ship because I think that's where all the bad stuff happens. I
Yeah.
think I'll be staying on that Earth where nobody where they have a cashless society.
Firstly, good catch, Lovern. That was funny. All right. Secondly, as far as when you, yeah, I've had to do it to myself several times since we went this way, so I fully understand. Secondly, I never knew the guy that was handled the transporter killed so many people. That's yeah.
Was
Have
that
you
Scott?
seen have you seen the movie? I think it was called The Prestige, about feuding magicians.
Yes.
Oh wait, yeah.
That's the Christopher Nolan movie with
Yeah, do you remember what the big reveal was at the end?
yeah, they's all clones. Yeah, it had
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman and Christian Bale in it.
Yeah, and he had a basement, he had a warehouse full of corpses.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, because he went to go see David Bowie, who was Tesla,
Yeah.
out in Denver or something like that.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
Because they was always trying to one up each other, those magicians.
Yeah.
That was pretty wild. I'm sorry, Jay, have you not seen it?
Man,
Sorry.
Don't have
how
to
old is
now.
that film?
Yeah, you don't need to. It's still good. It's called The Prestige.
No, how old is it?
Oh man, about 16 years old.
See, dude, it digs a faint memory, but I consume a lot of media as far as from music to film to books and comics, and and it vaguely.
It does.
I know Christopher Nolan's work because that was right
Yeah,
around.
it does get confused with another movie about magicians competing with Ed Norton.
Yeah, Ed Norton.
Yeah, which people say whom people have told me I look like, and no.
Yeah, I can see
I
some
mean,
of that.
yeah, I can see some Ed Norton in you. I can. I can. Are you
Oh
gonna
yeah,
play?
I used to get stopped in bars and people would want pictures with me because
Yeah.
they wanted to have a picture of themselves with a certain actor who was canceled a while back.
Yeah. I don't know.
Did
He's
a
a good
did a
actor.
House of Cards
Oh,
series.
hey, you know what though? Those charges were dropped. He won his court case. Let him come back. Bring back Kaiser Sose.
That was brilliant.
I mean, look, as long as
One of my favorites.
yeah, if
Yeah.
everything was fine, and that was a great reference, Dan, for real. Like I'm fine with that. I think it's funny that you can see where Marvel learned from that with how they handled. I mean, I should say technically Disney with how they handled Jonathan Majors as opposed to how they handled Johnny Depp. Because I know. Look, imagine being Johnny Depp after you've been fired. And they're like, hey, can we get you to come back for the Pirates of the Caribbean, man? Come on, I know you're like, come on, you ain't looking at them like, well, I mean, I can, but
Aren't we supposed to be? Shouldn't we be talking about maybe not so much Johnny Depp as maybe Grant Morrison being asked to come back to a certain company?
oh, he was. I don't do it so much. It's hard to keep up with. Lovern, I didn't know. Wait,
No,
Grant?
I'm talking about ancient history.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Okay.
I'm going into my seventh century. I mean, seventh decade this summer. So
I'm at least glad some of the co-hosts are older than I am.
Hey,
I think I'm older than everybody.
Hey, you show up to the comic book show looking like an old mage, and you charge them for some of your artwork, and then you also charge them for words of wisdom. There you go.
First words of wisdom. Don't listen to me.
Oh no, Lovern. I'd like to say you've given some great advice over the time that we've spoke, man, in all sincerity. Yeah, no, you just need a big old Gandalf hat.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm much gentler with my creative advice now. The guy who I had do my I don't know, Jay, have you ever read my graphic novel Underworld?
That the movie was based on?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, man, I haven't.
No, it's about
I think
a guy who breaks out of a psych ward and falls in the river by the hospital, and he thinks he's fallen into the Styx, and he washes up downtown in the city at night, and he thinks he's in Hades.
Oh,
And
wow.
he's trying, and it's a story about him trying to get home.
That's craziness.
And
Man,
it's called
man.
Underworld. I was fortunate I had Mike Carey do a beautiful forward for it, and CBC said it was the book to read, one of the books to read that year, top 10.
I
I'm sure we sold at least 3,000.
Now I
Oh,
just
nice.
gotta go talk to Dave over at Majors, man. Whatever. Y'all be like making me order comics all the dang time. Like for real. Just like
Well, if not, let me know, and I can always mail one out to you or something.
I think I'll have to man.
Anyway,
You know,
the
I never
artist who I had do the work on it, he came to me and he showed me his portfolio and he said, "Can you do a crit?" And I said, "You don't want me to do a crit?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, I do." And then the way he tells the story is, so then Lovern did the crit on me, and he just put this. How did he put it now? He said he just put this world of woe right into my lap. I'm
Rip.
I'm
Project.
totally misquoting him. But and then he says, but everything he said was right, and I learned from all of it.
Now, question: you being a professional, Lovern, is there a certain time of day that you do your best work? Are you a morning person, or you like to, hit the pages at night, or what do you prefer?
I don't have a real preference. I like to get up early in the morning and start, but you can never do that because there's life.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd like to get up early, do a workout, and then sit down and chug a lug about 9 cups of water before I have my coffee.
Yeah.
And sit down and do it. That's nice when the sun isn't in that angle at the studio where I have to close the blinds, and it's like sunny outside but not in here. So I guess earlier, but I guess it's the same at night too.
Mm.
all I
Okay.
know.
When I started back in the old method, I was an assistant to George Freeman. So I was in his studio and I did, I made the coffee, cleaned the dishes, and was his painting assistant and his inking assistant and that.
Okay. Paying dues.
That was the way you had to do it then. There was no internet. And I was lucky that he was living in the same city as me.
Yeah.
Otherwise I wouldn't have had that opportunity.
Yeah, it's good. You know what? It seems like there's a lot of people out there that you run across when you're in the business that will talk to you and they want to get into comics, but it's like they don't realize how much work it actually is, and they don't want to pay those dues. They want that glory. They want that book. And trust me, when you have that book in your hands that you worked on and you spend all that time, it feels great, right? And that's one of the things. That's what I really get out. That's my reward. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm not making money, but to have my book, my creation in my hands, physical copies, man, that's a high that I can't get anywhere else. So, but it's the amount of work it takes to get to that point. It's insane. It's really nuts. I need to get a team of people, somewhere down the road.
Well, a lot of those old pros did that.
Yeah.
Where do you think Larry Hama started out?
Yeah.
and working in other people's studios, you know, people like, same thing with Chaikin.
All I know is I'm kind of, as far as the question you asked earlier, man. I just got to say, I think with people, it really just depends on the hour. Because like I like to work like way into the night, but I can't because you know my son wakes me up early, so I better not be up till fucking 3 in the morning. I did it. Crap. It's because it's getting late and yeah, you keep hearing werewolves howl. That's what that noise was right there. Right? I swear on my life, man. I don't know why they're coming around. Right? For real. But to that ilk, man, I just want to say, like, go check out all of Vernon's work. There's a link in the comments as far as to check him out with, and that'll be for every time a co-host is on, there'll be a link to all their stuff. Now, as far as for Dan, I want to say if you've enjoyed this interview, so you didn't, I swear you didn't answer these questions, Dan. Dan, I swear you did. I don't have no answers, Dan. Dan, I don't have no answer. Do I need to pan it over to my screen, dude? It's huge.
Yeah, please. Scroll down.
Let's see. Okay. So here's why I sent you the questionnaire.
Yeah.
All right. Blah, blah, blah. There's all the questions. Here's where you sent me a list of no answers. And then here's where you forwarded it again. Oh, here's where you forwarded it again with, again, absolutely no answers.
That's so crazy.
Dan, you're messing with me.
It's just printed white on white. That's the problem.
Yeah, you know what? I'll get it to you, buddy. I'm sorry.
Well, since I
answered them.
since I can't do what I would normally do, and Lovern knows that particular end trick, I do believe you remember it, don't you? And see, Lovern laughs. I can't do what I would typically do. We're just gonna do this, man. If you've enjoyed this interview and if you've enjoyed enjoyed Dan, go check out his work. There's a link in the comments. Now, if you haven't, I don't know, just go like throw food at him at a convention. That works. Why not? Right? Just make it random. Hopefully he'll hate it. I was supposed to know because he was supposed to have answered these questions. And look, Dan, I don't care what you say. I don't have the answers. The answers aren't there. You weren't answered. Right? But man, it's been a pleasure having you on this show.
Yeah.
I appreciate you, Lovern. It's always a pleasure every time having you back, man. Keep on checking it out. We got so much stuff coming up. We got all the past episodes we've done. I'm loving season 2 so far, but I'm annoyed that I have to beep things out when somebody slips up because it happens. But besides that, don't drop the thumb, press it, right? Don't drop the thumb, press it. I dropped it. That's besides the point, right? 2 other things. 1, get your Comic on. 2, have a good night, y'all.
We're listening to the questionnaire.
Say that again.
You're listening to the questionnaires.
I've just started. Right here for your ears, for your eyes.
The questionnaire.
Get your Comic on.
Poke it up, poke it up, poke it up, poke it up.